The Starfleet life with the USS Dauntless. Are you brave enough to be a Starfleet officer? Do you have what it takes?
Greetings, I'm Admiral Swart, Commanding Officer of the USS Dauntless, and this is the briefing with the Admiral for stardate -250597.6. I am the Admiral in question, and today we're going to be talking about how to make the most of your Dauntless experience. But before we get onto that, let's just get the housekeeping out of the way. So firstly, these sessions are recorded every Tuesday at 12:30 South African Standard Time. Middle of the day on a Tuesday is admittedly an awkward time for people to join us. Fortunately, that is not a requirement. But if you are an active duty member of the crew and you'd like to join us for these recording sessions, you can chime in on the chat. You can ask me questions or deliver comments in real time. Oh dear, I've got some background noise. All right, my noise gate seems to be coping with it reasonably well. Let's hope it's not too serious. All right, if you'd like to ask a question or a comment in the live chat, if you're an active duty member of the crew, please make sure that you @tag me, you mention me personally, so that when we get to the Q&A section at the end, I'm able to go back and find all of the questions that were directed at me. Otherwise, you're welcome to participate in the chat. There's just tends to be a fair amount of chatter back and forth during these sessions, and I don't have time to read all of it during the Q&A session. That would lead to dead air, which nobody wants. So make sure that I am addressed directly in your comment or question so that I can find it when I get back there. If you're not an active duty member of the crew, you are welcome to join us for the YouTube stream. It usually works. We stream these live to YouTube at the same time. I'm sometimes able to see live comments coming through from YouTube when the setup works. It seems to be working right now, so if you'd like to give that a go, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, if you're not available at 12:30 on a Tuesday, you're welcome to watch these after the fact. The YouTube recording remains live there, and we will typically upload the recording to Facebook as well a little later in the day. And then if you have a comment or a question, please feel to drop one there in the comment thread as we go there, or you're welcome to reach out to me directly via whatever means you feel appropriate. Direct message on Facebook or Instagram or Telegram or X or Discord or wherever. And hopefully we can address your question there and then, or maybe even use your comment or question as inspiration for a future video. And today's video is one of those. Shout out to crewman apprentice Hilton, who I had a conversation with a couple of days ago, who got me thinking about today's topic. Next, who are we and why are we here? So USS Dauntless is a future-focused action and advocacy group that is at its core a Star Trek fan club. But we're more than just that. We are a chapter of STARFLEET, the International Star Trek Fan Association Incorporated, which is the world's largest organized fan community. We are one of hundreds of chapters in dozens of countries around the world, and our chapter is based here in Cape Town, South Africa, although we have members in cities all over the place. We've now just opened our first away team in Knysna, which is great. So, where was I? What else do I need to talk about? Oh, yes. What are we here to do? What is our mission? Well, our mission is to promote Star Trek as an optimistic vision of the future. We think that the world depicted in the Star Trek film and television series is a good one in which most of the problems that we face today, crime, poverty, disease, war, etc., have been largely, if not entirely, solved. And we would like to live in a world that meets those criteria. So we do whatever we can in the here and now, in the present day, to try and move our world closer to that optimistic ideal. So that's what the Dauntless is here for. But today we're going to be talking specifically to Dauntless crew members about how to make the most of your Dauntless experience, how to really get the most out of it. And although I'm going to be talking a lot about Dauntless specific stuff here, the underlying principles that I'm addressing apply not only to your life aboard the Dauntless, but to any institution, organization, society, group, club that you happen to have joined, whether it's your church, your family, your friend group, the company you work for. The same basic principles apply, even if the details might differ substantially. So we're going to go through some ideas about how to make the best of things. So the first category of of items we need to address here. We need to get these out of the way. And these are the mandatory things. Something's happened to my setup. My camera has gone weird. Okay, it seems my audio is still working, but my camera is not. I'm going to try and reboot the camera, see if that works. Stand by. Sorry about this, people. Let's try that again. Camera loading. If necessary, I can switch to my backup camera, and it looks like that might be necessary. Okay, give me a moment while I do that. Begging your pardon. Backup camera is operational. There we go. That's not ideal, but it will do. Oh, wait, I have to actually activate that. There we go. All right. Okay, backup camera is live. Sorry about that, folks. That's just how that works sometimes. I'm not really sure why that's happened. Okay, so where was I? The mandatory things. So there are certain aspects about life aboard the Dauntless that are non-negotiable. These are the things that all Dauntless members have to do in order to be and become and remain members of the Dauntless. They are non-negotiable. If you don't do these things, then you are not a functioning member of the crew. First one is you have to have a Discord account that is connected to the Dauntless Discord server. So the Discord server is our primary and obligatory communication system. It is our virtual comm badge. If you don't have a comm badge, you can't get aboard the ship. You can't beam up. You can't go through the turbo lift doors because the ship won't recognize your presence. No comm badge, no access. You can't be a member of the crew. So it is mandatory required to have an account connected to Discord. We did a whole briefing about this about a week ago. So if you'd like to go back and look at the communications protocol video we put out a week ago in the briefings with the Admiral's playlist, that's worth a look. You can see how we do that, but that is the first item on the list. Second item is attending priority 1 missions. We'll get into a bit more detail about what missions are, and we've actually done, again, at least one briefing about priority 1 missions in the past. Priority 1 missions are the most important missions that we do. Most of the time that consists of blood donation missions. So we gather up in our various away teams. So these are groups of members in various cities around the world. We meet up in our local away teams and we go and donate blood together once every 9 weeks. And this is our most important mission because it has real life or death consequences for the people who are recipients of the units of blood that we donate. We even require that people who are not able to donate blood still attend because that's how important it is. We need their support and their assistance when we go and donate blood together. So the entire crew is required to attend the blood donation missions once every 9 weeks. That is the second mandatory aspect of being a member of the Dauntless crew. The third aspect is checking in monthly. So because we are principally an online organization, we are not meeting in a physical place every day where we can see each other's faces and check up on each other's welfare and existence and continued life day to day. So we have to make a conscious effort in order to check in with each other. And this can happen in a number of different ways. Ideally, we would like it if that took the form of each member of the crew submitting their month-end crew report to their department head on the first of every month. That's just a list of all the things that you've done this month, or even if you haven't done anything this month, then just a little report saying, sorry guys, I didn't do anything this month. That's fine. That's the ideal format that we would like that check-in to take the form of. But actually, it can be anything, any kind of visible confirmation of life. So an instant message, seeing somebody across a crowded room in person, a phone call, a video call, playing online games together, or commenting on somebody's message on Facebook, any number of things like that. As long as you have made some kind of a social connection with your direct superior during the course of the month, then that check-in has occurred. Apologies again, I'm seeing some noise making it through my noise gate here. Hopefully it's not too distracting. All right, so those are the 3 mandatory items that have to be done by every Dauntless member of the crew in order to be a member of the crew. Everything else we're about to talk about, everything else we're going to cover today is optional in that it's not a requirement. You don't have to do any of this stuff, but all of it is recommended. And the more of these things that you do, the the more rewarding your experience will be. The better a crew member you will be, and the better your experience of being a crew member will be. So the first one is my AI assistant who helped me organize my thoughts for this, labeled this as lurk with purpose, also known as passive engagement. So this means that ideally you should be engaging with Dauntless activities which take place. So we're always doing things here on the Dauntless Discord. Every day there's conversations going, there's content being posted, whether it's briefings or blog posts, or we're engaging in missions, doing all kinds of stuff. There's always things happening. And even if you don't feel compelled to actively engage on any of those things, just keeping an eye on it, just watching what's happening is better than nothing, right? Lurking with purpose so that you are ready. When the time comes, when you feel like you need to step up and take action and do a thing, you're ready to do that. You're up to speed on what's been happening on the ship. You know who the people are, you know what the topics of conversation have been about, and you're ready to jump in and participate. When you get to your next priority 1 mission, you're not surrounded by strangers. You're in a room with people that you know because you've been watching them having conversations about things online for the last few weeks or months or years. Lurking with purpose is a constructive activity, even if you don't feel like you need to actually say anything. So watch the briefings. There's one of these posted just about every single week, so you can keep up to date on what our new activities are, what you can do in order to optimize your life, your experience aboard the Dauntless, and various other things. And read the chats, read the conversations, see what people are doing, see what people are saying, and quite importantly, I would say, is react to the messages. The way you do that in Discord is quite simple. You just either tap and hold on a message that somebody has sent, or if you're looking at it on a desktop, you right-click on that message, and then you select an emoji to react with. Easy as that. It's the same on just about every other instant messaging platform. If the react is just a thumbs up or a party streamer emoji or anything else like that, just that acknowledgement that you've given to that person is an interaction. You've taken a thing, you've taken an action, you've done a thing in the world, and you're actively engaging with the crew. You haven't said a word, you've just let that person know that you saw the message that they posted. And maybe it wasn't a message that they posted, maybe it was a message about them, maybe it was a promotion announcement. Congratulating people for earning rank promotions is a pretty cool thing. You should be doing that. Rank promotions are great, and if you want people to congratulate you when you get rank promotions, maybe you should start congratulating them too, because everybody's happy for you when you get promoted. Aren't you happy for your crewmates when they get promoted, when good things happen to them? Don't you want to help them celebrate the cool thing that's happened? Let's do that. It's easy. It's easy enough to do that with just a quick react emoji. You don't have to throw them a party. You don't have to send them a gift. You don't even have to say a word. Just a thumbs up or a okay or 100% emoji react. Anything like that is perfectly acceptable. And it costs you virtually no time and zero effort. So that is the easiest level of engagement, is lurking with purpose or passive engagement. The next level up is the challenges. So you may have heard us talking about various challenges on board. And there are 4 official challenges that we have at the moment. Those are the fitness challenge. I'm holding my hand out here because my other camera can see this hand here, but I'm going to have to hold this hand. All right. Fitness challenge, the reading challenge, the linguistics challenge, and the combat training challenge. 4 things. Now, what's cool about all of these challenges is that they are a way that you can use the things that you're probably already doing to contribute to the Dauntless, to join in, to engage, especially and most significantly, the fitness challenge. How do you participate in the fitness challenge? It's really, really easy. What you have to do is take your phone, what we call a pad, activate the step tracker on your phone. And if you have a phone, you have a step tracker on it. They all come with that now. Don't believe the propaganda or the lies when people say it's going to significantly and adversely affect your battery life. It's going to have virtually no impact whatsoever on your phone's battery life. So activate the step tracker. Your phone probably comes with an app, something like Samsung Health, Google Fit, Apple Health, Huawei Health, or anything like that. There's a bunch of different platforms. Each phone will have one that can track the number of steps that you take, or you can install a third-party app like Google Fit. That's my recommendation. It will count the number of steps that you take while your phone is on your body. So in your pocket, in your bag, or whatever, it will just passively count the number of steps that you take during the course of the day. What you can then do is connect your fitness tracking app, so your Google Fit or your Samsung Health or your Apple Health, to the app that we use to manage the fitness challenge, which is an app called StrideKick. So StrideKick is a free service. You just install the app, create an account, link it to your fitness tracking app, so that for free using a connector called Google Health Connect. And if you have any questions about how to do that, you're welcome to ask me. I will guide you through it. By connecting those two apps, you are then going to, the next step is you have to add the Chief Medical Officer as a friend on StrideKick. Again, there are instructions available to do that in the gym channel here on Discord, or you can just message me and I'll walk you through it. Once you've added the Chief Medical Officer as a friend on StrideKick, he, and that is currently me, can just passively every month check the number of steps that you've taken and then produce a list of every member of the crew who has done those steps, and we can see who did the most steps for the month. Most months, that's me. So don't worry about that. You don't have to beat me. Just participating is enough. You're counting the number of steps and you're participating in an activity with the rest of the crew. Fitness challenge is the easiest thing to do, right? It requires a little bit of setup, 5 minutes worth once, and then just once a week or so, you open the StrideKick app to make sure that everything's still working smoothly. That's it. Easy as that. You're participating. You're getting recognized and even rewarded for just living your life, for just doing the thing that you were doing already. The next easiest one is probably the reading challenge. So in 2025, a lot of us aren't necessarily making a point of doing a lot of reading anymore. But those of us that are, and I think that's a lot of us, I think we're the kind of community that consists significantly of intellectuals and educated people. We probably do a fair amount of reading between us. All you have to do is submit in a Google Sheet once a month the books that you've read, all of the stuff that you have read for the month, how many pages that was, who wrote the book that you've read, and whether or not the book was about Star Trek. And then Colonel Uberg will figure out at the end of the month who read the most pages, and that person wins. So this one requires a little bit more activity from you in that you have to actually log in to the Google Sheet once a month. It's super easy. You just type in your name, type in the number of pages, easy as that. And Colonel Uberg does the rest. So this isn't happening passively. You have to actively do it, unless you can figure out some way of automating it. Maybe you've got some kind of a Scrobbler app on your phone that can track how many pages you've read, and then that automatically updates to the Google Sheet. That's a cool idea, actually. I should look into that. But as of now, we don't have anything like that set up. For now, you have to do it manually, but it's easy enough to take care of that. Easy. You're getting rewarded for doing the things that you're already doing. If you're the sort of person who's interested in learning to speak other languages, you're probably already using Duolingo, and that's the next challenge, Linguistics Challenge. You just need to sign up to our what they call a classroom in Duolingo. It's a little bit confusing. It's not a group, it's a classroom. And then you just use Duolingo like you normally do. And the XP that you log during the course of the month by just doing your regular Duolingo usage then contributes to the Duolingo Challenge leaderboard. And Captain Van Krienen will do the leaderboard at the end of the month for that. And then the fourth one, which probably fewer of us are doing, and that is combat training. So if you do any kind of combat training, whether it's martial arts or target shooting or archery or anything like that, paintball, airsoft, that kind of thing, if that's a thing that you do, all I ask is that you submit the number of hours that you spend doing that stuff during the course of the month in the combat training channel. So you can do a monthly total if you want. What I prefer to do is every time I do a combat training session, I'll just post a little summary of the session that I've done for that day. And then the Chief Security Officer, which again at the moment is me, will go at the end of the month, count up all of those total sessions, and then whoever's logged the most hours wins the thing. But that, again, that's a thing that you may already be doing already, and you're getting recognized for the stuff you're already doing. So joining the challenges is super easy, requires very little administrative overhead from you. Especially when it comes to the fitness and reading challenge. If you haven't done Duolingo yet, you should start. And if you're not doing any combat training yet, you should start. And then we can start all working together on those projects, because they will, for various reasons, help make you a better person. I've done plenty of hours of videos about how those things will make you a better person. I refer you back again to the Briefing with the Admiral playlist on YouTube. But what all of those things do is they help you to build productive habits, maintain productive habits, and you can track your progress alongside the rest of the crew. Yes, each of those challenges has a winner every month, but with none of them, the winner doesn't really, it doesn't really matter who wins. That's not really why we're doing it. We're doing it for the sake of improving ourselves and then contributing towards a group collective effort where we can cheer each other on. When we challenge ourselves, we raise each other up. All right, so challenges is the next tier. Next tier up from there is informal activities. So there are a lot of structured and organized activities that we do, and we'll talk about those in a minute. But there's a lot of things also that we do day to day that are not structured. They're not especially organized. They're just fun things that we do. The first one that you might be, may or may not be aware of is Treckle. I'm gonna switch to this so I can show you what it looks like. There we go. So Treckle is a little word game. So you might be familiar with Wordle. It's a game that's popular with boomers. Treckle is just a Star Trek version of Wordle. So every day there's a new word. It's a 5-letter word. You have to try and guess what the word is. You've got 6 tries to guess. And if you get it right, then you can share your results in the Treckle channel here on Discord. And just that's it. That's all there is to it. You just share your results so that we can all see how well you did or how poorly you did and cheer you on or commiserate with you or whatever it is. That's all. There's no leaderboard. There's no monthly challenge. There's nothing like that. It's a fun thing to do, and we can do it together. We can share it, our progress or our lack thereof in the Treckle Discord channel. That's it. That's all there is to Treckle. Another thing we do here, let me switch back to this because I don't have a visual aid for this, is the daily devotionals. So I did a whole video on this a little while back. Again, it's in the Briefing with the Admiral playlist on YouTube. The daily devotionals is a project that I administer. I do it for myself, but I share it with the crew because I like to share things like this because I'm doing a lot of work on it anyway. I may as well make it available to everybody. And this is a project where I like to watch through the entire Star Trek canon, 1 episode per day in chronological order from beginning to end, and then back to the beginning again. We're at almost 1,000 episodes now, so it takes me a long time to get through the whole thing. But I've set it up so that there is an automated bot that posts the episode of the day, the daily devotional episode of that day, to the Future History channel here on Discord. I'm starting to think maybe I should change the name of that channel to just Star Trek. Maybe that in-joke is a little obscure. Let me know in the comments if you think that that's something we should consider doing. But anyway, at the moment, it is the Future History channel, which just posts a little write-up of that episode of the day and invites everybody in the crew to have a conversation about that episode. Watch it in your own time, and then we chat about it there and then. And that's it. That's all it is. We're just studying Star Trek together because we are, of course, a Star Trek fan community. And that's one of the things that Star Trek fan clubs do is study Star Trek. And the daily devotional gives us a nice mechanism to do that by. At least I think so. A third informal thing that we do is the daily stand-ups. This is something that I think, if I remember correctly, was kickstarted by Master Chief Kotzer some time ago. And it's just a message in the Bridge channel. If you're an active duty member of the crew, you have access to the Bridge channel. When you log in the morning, just say hi to everybody and let us know what's going on in your life. What are you planning to do today? What did you have to deal with yesterday? What's good? What's bad? Post a photo if you're looking at something cool. That's it. Just a little, we informally call it the stand-up. It's just so that we can get to know each other at a social level and see what's happening in each other's lives. It's, again, not a requirement. It's just a nice thing to do. I try to remember to do that most days. Even if it's repetitive, even if you do the same thing every day, that's fine. Even if your check-in says, oh, it's Tuesday again, just like every Tuesday. That's cool. That's acceptable. And then we know that we're alive, that you're alive, that you're doing things, and that everything's kind of going okay with you. And that, by the way, would count as a check-in for the monthly check-in point of view, if you wanted it to. So those are kind of the informal activities or examples of the informal activities that we do. Obviously, we're having informal conversations all the time, but those are kind of the regular things that we can point to as things that happen on board. Because not everything has to be a mission to matter. Things can be important, things can be interesting, they can be beneficial without having any kind of structure behind them, just because we like to do them. The next tier up is social missions. So these are missions that we typically classify as priority 3, sometimes priority 2, depending on the details. And so missions, all right. So we spoke about these earlier, and in case you're new, what a mission is it's a discrete event that the Dauntless crew embarks upon. There are a few criteria that have to be met in order for something to be considered an official mission, but missions happen all the time. We have 3 or 4 or 5 missions a week usually, depending on the time of year and what's going on. In fact, this briefing is considered a mission. If you are a member of the Dauntless crew, being present for the live recording of the briefing with the Admiral recording session, that counts as attending a mission. So it could be anything. It could be that. It could be going out into the world in physical reality and doing a thing that would count as an away mission, which is just a different kind of mission. Missions are missions. It could be a games night online. It could be a games day out in person. It could be visiting a convention. It could be any number of things. The typical weekly missions that we have are, in addition to this one, the briefing with the Admiral every Tuesday, we have a Star Trek Online games night on Wednesday night where we all join together in Discord and we play Star Trek Online together. If we are in the middle of the distribution cycle of a new season of Star Trek, then we will have a watch party on the Friday night. So the idea being that we all join together again here in Discord and we watch that week's episode of Star Trek together. And then on Saturday morning, one of our away teams, Tau Team, which is based here in Cape Town, South Africa, we go out in person and we participate in Park Run, which is a free timed out in the world 5K run that we can all join into together. Those are kind of the weekly events that happen every week. And then we have special things that we do. Sometimes we'll gather at somebody's house and play board games or Star Trek card games. Sometimes we'll join online and we'll play online games together that don't even have anything to do with Star Trek. Like we spent a few weeks playing Among Us not that long ago. We played Hearthstone once or twice. This is just stuff that online social communities do. And then there is conventions. Conventions happen less frequently, typically only once or twice a year in the larger cities. We just had a few weeks ago Comic-Con Cape Town, which is one of the bigger conventions in South Africa. And the way we do that is, firstly, conventions are a little bit more important because we have actual business to do there. We're not just going as visitors. Typically, we are going to represent Starfleet and the Dauntless and our fan community. So because we are acting as representatives, it's a little bit more formal, and that becomes no longer a priority 3 mission. That's a priority 2 mission, which means people are expected to attend if they possibly can. And also at conventions, we're expected to wear uniforms. We're expected to engage with activities if we possibly can. So conventions are one step up, but there's still an important social function to conventions that we attend there. And we could even mention here the priority 1 missions, the blood donation missions that we do once every 9 weeks. Although it is a serious business of saving lives by donating blood, there's also a very important, in fact, crucial social component to those missions, which is that we're gathering together for a meal before we donate blood together, and spending some time together, maybe playing some tabletop games, having a chat, getting to see each other again. Although we are in more or less constant communication online, it's a very different experience to be able to see and interact with each other in person from time to time. And that's an important part of what we do here. So social missions, very important. Now, it's not mandatory to attend any of these except, of course, the priority 1 missions, but the other social stuff, it's not required. But the more of these kinds of social events that you engage in, that you participate in, the better it is for you, the better it is for everybody. Because the more people who are at the events, the nicer it is for everyone. And you also get to enjoy the benefits of being part of the social group. So showing up matters. Matters for you and it matters for us because we want to see you. We want to share that experience with you. Okay, the next level up is now we're starting to get a little more serious again. And now we're talking about joining our parent organization, Starfleet International. So I mentioned them at the beginning. Starfleet International, or in its full name is Starfleet, the International Star Trek Fan Association Incorporated, is the largest organized fan-run Star Trek fan community in the world. Thousands of members, hundreds of chapters, dozens of countries. Most of the membership is based in the United States, but there are international members all over. And it is a colossal organization that does a lot of cool stuff. Probably the most important thing that Starfleet International as a parent organization does is it facilitates a wider community of Star Trek fandom between all of the various different chapters. And there are plenty of internal organizational structures within Starfleet International to help strengthen those bonds between those chapters, between individual members, and making all of those things better for everybody. There are auxiliaries dedicated to specific aspects of fandom, whether it's you're interested in science or gaming or building stuff, all kinds of cool stuff. All of those things are looked after from an international point of view within Starfleet International. There are also governing bodies and educational institutions and all kinds of cool stuff in Starfleet International. So strongly recommended that you consider joining SFI, our parent organization. Starfleet, Starfleet International, there are plenty of short names for it. Whereas being a member of the Dauntless is free. We don't charge a fee, and our budget is zero. We don't hold or keep or spend any money. That is the same is not true of SFI. There is a nominal fee to become a Starfleet member. I think it's $10 a year, which is, it's not exactly unaffordable. It's not a fortune. And if you sign up more than one person together on a family membership, then economies of scale kick in. It works out to be cheaper than that per member. So worth doing. What it also does benefit-wise is that because you have access then to Starfleet Educational Services or the Starfleet's Fandom Academy, that allows you to get certified in a number of important internal qualifications that you need here on the Dauntless in order to unlock certain rank promotions and certain other positions of authority that we'll get to in a moment. Those qualifications are important and in some cases required by law in order to fill those positions. So being a member of SFI gives you access to those kinds of things. Because when we're here on the Dauntless, you're not just part of the crew, you're also part of the fleet. And signing up for SFI helps connect you to that wider network of Starfleet International. Next level up. And okay, so let me talk about these levels that I've been addressing here. These are not in chronological sequence. So level 1 isn't necessarily the first thing you should do. Level 2 is not necessarily the second thing, and so on. We're now about to go on to level 7. You might want to do this level 7 thing first and then come back to level 5 and then jump up to level 6 and then down to level 3, or do all of them at once. Ideally do all of them at once. But if that's too large of a bite of the apple, if you can only do one thing at a time, then pick an item to do that feels manageable for you regardless of what level it's at. I've only structured this list based on how much engagement it asks of from you as an individual member. And sometimes things require a little bit extra engagement at the beginning to kick things off, and then you can take it easy and relax and do relatively passive engagement for a while before you have to step up your engagement again to take things to the next level, and so on. So, next level up, level 7, is build your uniform. And that means to wear the pride of your commission. So, uniforms, obviously I'm wearing a uniform right now. This is my Class B standard duty uniform. This one is particular to members of Admiral ranks, so that's rank Commodore and above, so slightly different to the one that you would likely be wearing. But this is not the only uniform that is available. The easiest one, and the one that we all recommend, everybody start with, is called the Class C Leisure Uniform, or the LU. And that's really, really basic. I can show you that here. Let's switch back to this. And okay, so the Class C uniform just looks like this. It's just jeans and a t-shirt, right? You get the t-shirt in the right color. And how do you know what color it is? Well, it's based on what department you serve in. Each department is allocated to a particular branch of service, and it gets one of 3 colors. It's either gold, teal, or red. So just make sure you know which is the correct color for your department. Pick up a t-shirt in that color, match it with a pair of jeans or black trousers, and you're ready to go. That's it. That's all you need. There are plenty of accessories that are available to upgrade your LU to make it a little bit snazzier, make it feel a little bit more official, like the arm patches. You can slap a comm badge on your chest or whatever. Plenty of ways of upgrading it and making it feel cooler. But just that color-coded t-shirt and jeans, that's enough. You're ready to go. You're good. Like, that's it. That's the official uniform. If you snap a photograph of yourself and send that to the quartermaster, then they can certify you correct and accurate with that uniform. And then when you wear it to your next away mission, you'll get credit for having attended in uniform. Easy as that. Once you've got your Class C uniform up and running and you're happy with what it looks like, Then the next one we recommend is putting together your Class B uniform, your standard duty uniform, which looks like this. So this is the one that was depicted in Star Trek Deep Space Nine in the later seasons. You would also recognize it from Star Trek First Contact, Insurrection, Nemesis. Also appeared in Lower Decks. So this uniform, which is the black, it's either a bodysuit or a black jacket and black trousers with the gray shoulders, the branch of service color collar, branch of service color stripes on your sleeves, the specific comm badge on your chest, the specific design, and then rank insignia on the collar. All those details are available. If you have any questions, we can confirm that for you. This is a little bit more complicated and expensive to put together than a leisure uniform because it's not just a t-shirt and it has to look a very particular way. There are multiple ways of putting together an SDU. None of them are easy and none of them are cheap. But there are resources available. There are members of the crew who have done it, some of them recently, including myself, who can offer you advice, put you in contact with people, send you links, all kinds of stuff to help you build your SDU. It's a bit more of a commitment because it's going to cost some money and it's going to take some time. Be prepared for it not to be ready for you overnight. Even if you order it online, it's probably not going to be right when it arrives because it's not going to fit properly and it might have the wrong comm badge and it might have the wrong rank insignia and that kind of thing. So expect to have to do a little bit of aftermarket modification to get it up to spec. But that's fine. As long as you're making progress towards getting your uniform sorted, that's important. So yeah, a little bit of money, a little bit of time, some patience, and attention to detail is quite important. You want to make sure you have all the details correct so that it passes inspection once you've finished assembling it. And again, if you have any questions, looking for any advice or tips or resources on putting together your uniform, look in the Quartermaster channel on Discord. You can drop a question there, and there's plenty of people willing to offer you assistance in putting that together. And then there are other uniforms that you can put together once you've finished building your SDU. We've got dress uniforms, battle dress uniforms, physical training uniforms, all kinds of cool stuff like that. We can take this away now. And why uniforms? Why does it matter? Because these are not costumes. We're not cosplaying as members of the fictional Starfleet. These are our actual official uniforms that represent who we are and what we do. So my rank is not fictional, although some people in Starfleet use that term. They describe our ranks as fictional. It's not fictional. It is different to Navy ranks, even though the names are the same. The admiral in the Navy has a very different set of qualifications to my set of qualifications, arguably a lot more difficult to obtain. But my rank is real. I spent a lot of time earning it, and at least within the context of Starfleet International, it is very much a real rank. You could describe it perhaps as ceremonial or honorary, but it is nonetheless real, not fictional. So when I wear this rank insignia on my collar, I'm demonstrating a thing that I have earned, that belongs to me, that I have worked very, very hard to obtain. And the same is true of the rest of my uniform. So that's why we wear these uniforms, to identify us to other people around us as what we are, which is Starfleet officers, and to identify us to each other with the more detailed aspects of the uniform, branch of service color, rank insignia, and so on. Because a uniform represents who you are, as opposed to a costume, which is just dressing up as something that you're not. Okay, let me take a sip of my beverage, one moment. And then we can move on to the next category, which is to become a pillar of the community. And you do that by taking on responsibility. A few ways you can do that. You can, as a duty station holder, which is what just about everybody is at first. By default, you start off as a duty station holder. That means that you have a title, whether it's science technician or communications specialist or security officer. You have a generic title that has with it no set of required deliverables. You have no specific job that you're expected to do. But people in your department, people in your team have work to do. There are duty station holders in your team that probably need help with doing the work that they're doing. So even if you don't have a specific set of deliverables, by volunteering within your team to assist the duty station holders there with their work, you can start easing the burden and gaining a little bit of hands-on practical experience of what it feels like to be a duty station holder. Now, some duty station holders work requires specific qualifications in order to do the work. So they're not necessarily going to be able to hand over a lot of stuff to you, but there's definitely things within your department that you can help out with, whether it's copy editing an article that someone's written, or generating artwork to go with something, or reading over something, or looking through something, or double checking someone else's work. There's plenty of stuff that can be done on board to assist. And if you're interested in assisting, the more you can assist, the better. So volunteering to help out with things like report or administration or event planning or graphics or onboarding guidance, anything like that is beneficial, even if you're not volunteering for an actual duty station. But a duty station is the next suggestion. So once you feel like you're comfortable with actually doing work on board, it's time to consider taking on a duty station. So this is a job on board. And again, we've done a whole video about duty stations. In fact, multiple videos about duty stations. So go take a look for those in the briefing playlist. But these are jobs that have a specific set of deliverables assigned to them. And by taking on that position, you are agreeing to meet those conditions, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, annually, whatever it might be, and to do that job to the best of your ability. And because we're asking people to take on that responsibility, it's not just a quick process to become a duty station holder. There is an induction process whereby we make sure that you meet the prerequisites first, and then we help you with on-the-job training, get used to the work, and that only once you feel and we feel that you're ready to take on that role, then you'll get appointed to the position. So duty station is quite a commitment, not just actually holding the position, but even getting to the point where you're holding the position is quite a commitment. So this is a real step up. But this is the thing that we want everybody to do, right? If you can possibly manage it, signing up for a duty station is how we keep the organization running. The Dauntless and even Starfleet International, although it's Starfleet, it's not called the duty station. It's got a different way of being described there. And the induction process is a lot less comprehensive at the Starfleet level. People volunteering for these positions is what makes the entire thing work. And it's very, very important that people do that kind of thing. So we strongly encourage and beseech people, if you have some capacity and if you think that you can take on that responsibility, please consider signing up for a duty station. And it doesn't have to be a lot of work. It doesn't have to be a department head, which arguably is quite a lot of work. Probably the easiest duty station position on board is a thing called a communications operator, where you take responsibility for one of our multiple communication channels. Let's say it could even be a relatively quiet communication channel, something like our Facebook group, which sees virtually no traffic. All you have to do is just check in with the Facebook group, set up your notifications on your pad or your phone so that if anybody posts a message to the Facebook group, you get a notification and you can see what was being posted. Make sure that nobody's out of line, nobody's posting spam, nobody's account has been hacked and they're doing weird things. That's it. That's all you have to do. It's really not that much work, but it helps. Every little bit helps. So if you feel like you've got something to contribute, if you've got some capacity or some skills or some talents on your hands and you'd like to help out, please consider taking on a duty station, whether it's a low-end one like a communications operator or something sort of high to the top of the organogram, so a department head or something like that. Please give that serious thought and consider jumping in on that induction process. Because the crew works best when everybody does their part. And the more we can spread the load of doing all the work, the easier it is for everybody. Which takes us to the next layer up, and that is to lead. And that is to take on positions of leadership and to help to shape the future of the Dauntless. Again, there are multiple ways of doing this, some formal and some informal. The most obvious formal way of doing this is by working your way up to duty stations that are in leadership positions. So deputy department heads, members of the command department. These are the leadership positions that are, many of which are currently vacant. They're available. If you'd like to take on the challenge of being a leader, that is an option that can be made available to you. Or it can be in less formal ways. So when new recruits join the Dauntless crew, although there are a lot of resources available to them, it can be a slightly daunting task, and it is beneficial to have these new recruits have access to someone who can help guide them through things, especially somebody who perhaps is not the commanding officer, who doesn't have the shiny collar, somebody who is regular rank and file, a normal officer who can just help guide them through the process, answer their questions, prompt them and remind them of things. And that is the mentorship program. So every new recruit is assigned a mentor. And if that's something that you're interested in engaging in, if that's something you'd like to sign up for, again, it's not a duty station. It doesn't have a specific set of deliverables. You're just volunteering to be a buddy for the new recruits as they come online, and you can help them through that process. That would be beneficial. If that's something that you think you can do, please let us know. Then there is leading missions. So again, this is something that you don't have to be a duty station holder to do. You don't have to be a senior officer or anything. Anybody can lead a mission. If you have an idea for a mission that we can do, so that's an event or an activity that we can engage in, submit it. We have a form. If you can't find the form, just ask. I'll drop you the link. Go submit your mission proposal. That just has to include the basics of when you think the mission should be, what the mission should be for, what stuff you think we would be doing during the mission, and that's it. Then the command staff can decide whether or not they're going to approve that, and they probably will, and then you take it from there. Use whatever resources you need, whatever resources are available, and you can execute that mission and get credit for leading it. Even if nobody shows up, even if you're the only person who turns up for your mission, the fact that you got the ball rolling, that you came up with a plan and you executed the plan means that you get credit for that leadership opportunity. And the more you do that kind of thing, the more consistently you do it, the more people will want to participate because they see that you're having fun, and having fun is contagious. They'll want to engage with you on that stuff. So leading missions is valuable and important. And then again, more sort of generically, and is just setting the tone, upholding our values and of courage and dedication and love of Star Trek, duty. Just living those values day to day and making it obvious to everyone around you that that's what you're doing. That helps. That is a leadership activity in itself, right? That is helping to build and strengthen and reinforce the internal structures and cohesion of this community. So no jobs required, no signing up for duty stations or anything like that. Just living your life as the best Starfleet officer that you can be. That in itself is a leadership activity, and that has tremendous value when it comes to building a community like this one. Leadership isn't a rank, although rank follows from leadership. Leadership is a habit of service. And speaking of service, that brings us to the 10th and the last layer in this onion, and that is external service. So that is representing the Dauntless to the galaxy, right? So multiple ways that you can do this. Serving in Starfleet International. So this is within our parent organization, but outside of the Dauntless, there are multiple different avenues for service within Starfleet International. You can serve on a regional or an executive staff. So Starfleet International has split the globe into 20 different geographically designated regions. We live in Region 8. And Region 8 has its own staff. There is a regional coordinator, who is currently me, and a vice regional coordinator, and there are regional officers whose job it is to oversee certain functions of the region. That could be you. You could be one of those people. The executive, which is the staff that reports directly to the Commander Starfleet, who is the head honcho of Starfleet International. There are multiple department heads reporting to him, and each one of those departments has a staff of people that are responsible for overseeing different aspects of running Starfleet International. That could be you. There are the auxiliaries I mentioned: Starfleet Sciences, Starfleet Medical, Starfleet Engineering Corps, Starfleet Tactical, the Marine Corps, Special Operations. There's all these different auxiliary groups within Starfleet International dedicated to specific aspects of Star Trek fandom. And all of those have staff, and there are people involved in all of those things that do work and need to do work, and there's work that needs to be done, and that could be you. So at any level of Starfleet, there are opportunities for service. The requirements are, of course, that you have to be a member of Starfleet International, and for most staff positions, you need to have certain certifications, specifically the Starfleet Data Privacy Policy certification, which is it's a legal certification we get to ensure compliance with international privacy regulations, online data privacy, and it has to be renewed every year, but that's free. The course is available for free from Starfleet Educational Services. You just have to do it every year by, I think it's the end of January is the cutoff, just to make sure that we're up to date with this year's changes in the privacy regulations. And then you're free to serve at just about any level of Starfleet. Whatever you feel you'd like to serve in, you can. There are lists of vacant positions being published across all over Starfleet on the Starfleet Business Only Facebook group, the Starfleet Discord server. I'll sometimes remember to reshare those posts on our local Discord server in the Starfleet channel. If that's something that you're interested in pursuing, just drop an email to the relevant person and take on that duty. Strongly recommended. Next aspect of it is of external services community outreach. So this is a project that is overseen by the communications department here on the Dauntless, and it is a way that we try to facilitate the civilian Star Trek fan community outside of the Dauntless. So being a member of Starfleet, being a member of the Dauntless isn't for everybody, right? It's not even for all Star Trek fans. Most Star Trek fans are content to just be part of an online community where we can talk about Star Trek, and that's cool. That's not what the Dauntless is. It is in part what we are, but there's a lot more to being a member of the Dauntless than just that. But we feel that it's important to be able to make a space where civilians, that's people who are not members of Starfleet, to be able to engage in that kind of activity too. And to that end, we have two communications platforms, a Facebook group and a Discord server, both of which are called Star Trek South Africa, that we administer for the local community. So we can just talk about Star Trek with civilians. It also means that there's a pipeline there for recruiting. So people might find their way into one of those civilian groups and learn about Starfleet or the Dauntless and might want to sign up, and that's great. But that's not our principal objective there. That's just a nice to have. If that happens from time to time, it's great, but it's not why we're in it. It's part of our mission to ensure that we are spreading the message of Star Trek, that we are providing opportunities for people to discuss things. And that's one of the reasons also why we take our presence at local conventions so seriously, because we want to make it clear to everybody that there is a vocal, active Star Trek community here. Even if people don't want to join us, they don't want to become Starfleet officers, there are still opportunities for them to engage in a Star Trek fan community outside of that. And we feel like it's our obligation to help facilitate that kind of thing. So that's what the community outreach program is. If you are interested in helping with that program, please do. Raise your hand. We'll give you some tips and pointers to where you could be going to engage with civilians and how you might want to do that, what resources you might want to have access to in order to do that kind of thing. So it's not a duty station. It's just an opportunity for volunteering here aboard the Dauntless. And then the third way I thought of doing that is what we call our public service program. So this is for any member of the crew who feels like they would like to volunteer for organizations outside of Starfleet. So these are entirely civilian organizations that have little or nothing to do with Star Trek at all. The only constraints we put on which organizations count for public service is that they may not have a religious agenda and they may not have a political agenda. As long as they are free of those two things, then whatever cause you feel moves you to get involved, please do so. And then when you do that, when you submit your monthly crew report at the end of the month to your department head, make sure you mention how many hours you spent doing that work. Now, you could do that as a Starfleet officer if you like. You can show up for a beach cleanup in your Starfleet uniform if that moves you to do that. That's great. Or you can just do it in your own personal private capacity. That's fine too. It doesn't matter. As long as you're doing some kind of volunteer work that, again, doesn't have either a religious or a political agenda behind it, and you can claim those hours as part of our public service program. There's no challenge for public service hours or anything like that, but there is the opportunity for awards. Starfleet International as a whole and some of the various divisions within Starfleet offer awards for people who are engaged in that kind of volunteer work. So if we can see that you're doing that, and we can see that by looking at your crew report, then we know whether or not you're eligible for those kinds of rewards. So please make sure that if you're doing that kind of volunteer work, that you are logging it in your crew report so that we can see that you're doing that, so that we can put you forward for the relevant recognition. Because all of this stuff matters, because the Prime Directive doesn't end at the airlock, right? We're all part of this together, but the important part of the mission, what sets us apart from regular Star Trek fans, is our mission. And our mission is to bring the world of Star Trek, the future of Star Trek, and the message of Star Trek to the wider community. We are here to do that work. And doesn't mean we have to do it as Starfleet officers. We don't have to be wearing a comm badge while we're doing it in order for that work to matter. And we want to make sure that that is recognized and addressed accordingly. All right, so let's get on to questions or comments if there are any. Okay, let me scroll back up. All right. First one is from Captain loud and clear. Okay, good. My audio is working fine. I'm glad to hear that. Commander Shomali says, whenever I say, who are we? I feel the urge to remind a lot of you that that above all this, you are my family as well, whether you like it or not. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I also think of Starfleet as a family of sorts. And that's really what we're about, right? We're trying to build as close-knit a social community as possible. And in many ways, that does resemble a family. And if you are one of the members who are you feel like you're on the outside and you're looking in and you feel like you're being left out of all of this family-style interaction, don't. Just step in, just participate, just react to the messages, jump in and join the family. We're here for you. We're here with you. It's up to you to make that choice. Petty Officer Duran says, no distraction. We're not hearing the noise. Okay, I'm glad. There has been a lot of noise in my surroundings, but it looks like my noise gates are working pretty well. I suspect, though, that maybe the Discord noise gate might be working better than my OBS noise gate. So the recording after the fact might not have as clean audio, but we'll see. As long as I can be heard, then that's really what matters. Commander Shomali says the same thing. Good. All right. Colonel Hubert says, you can also just tell me in private message which book and how many pages if you don't want anyone to know what you're reading. Okay, good. Yes, that's a good point. Thank you. So for the reading challenge, if you don't feel like you want to put it on the spreadsheet, where everybody puts the pages that they've read, if you're embarrassed about what you're reading, maybe you're reading some spicy books or something like that, that's fine. Just send a private message to Colonel Hubert. Tell her the title, tell her the number of pages, and she'll make sure that you receive the appropriate recognition without having it be advertised to everybody. That's fine. Petty Officer Duran says, Dauntless has started to inspire me for better timekeeping habits. It's a process, but yes, I can say it has definitely started. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's really cool. One of the important things, I think, in being an efficient member of the crew is mastering your calendar. And I mean, I learned to wrangle my calendar a long time ago, so I kind of forget how much of a mission that was at first. But I can definitely concede that getting your head around how to manage your time efficiently can be quite a challenge developing those habits, but it's definitely worth it. I did a briefing video some time ago about exactly that, how different calendars work, how we use them here in the Dauntless. That might have some useful information for you, so it's worth taking a look back at that if you want to. Let's see. Oh, and more. Petty Officer Duran says again, there is a sentence that consists of 10 two-letter words that is universal truth. If it has to be, it is up to me. Yes, I couldn't agree more, right? So nobody else is going to do life for you. You have to do it for yourself. If you want to be part of this family, you have to decide to be part of this family, but then just do it. Then it's fine. We're not going to provide the Dauntless for you. We're providing the Dauntless for ourselves, and you can too. You can be part of that process. Just jump in and start participating. As I was building my outline today, my AI assistant had a few questions too, so I'm going to go through those quickly as well. One is, if I'm not very active socially, can I still be part of the crew without doing the informal stuff? Yes, absolutely you can. Don't have to do everything, but the more you choose to engage, the more rewarding your experience will become. So if you're only doing the bare minimum stuff, that's okay. If that's your choice, if that's your comfort level, then that's okay. But I promise it'll be worth it. If you do a little bit more than that, you'll get back what you put in. And then that will make it feel that much more comfortable to put a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And before you know it, you'll just be part of the family. What counts as checking in for the monthly requirement? Okay, so remember we spoke about the crew report, which is the ideal form of that monthly check-in, just to give an outline of all the stuff that you've done relating to your Dauntless service for the month. So that's what missions you attended, what courses you've completed at the academy, any other comments or questions you might have, and then the number of public service hours that you've logged for that month. Ideally, your report would include all of those things, but strictly speaking, that's not necessary. It's fine to just say hi to send a thumbs up to your department head. Let us know that you're alive, that you're still with us, that you haven't fallen off the face of the planet. That's sufficient. So any visible sign of life will do the trick, but the more the better. Next, is there a minimum standard for uniforms if I can't afford a full set right away? Yes. Okay, so we spoke about the Class C uniform, the leisure uniform, just a colored t-shirt and a pair of pants. Typically jeans or black trousers is ideal, and that's it. So a regular cheap, super cheap t-shirt that you can pick up somewhere like Mr. Price or Ackerman's. You'll often find the correct color codes available in those places for 100 Rand or less. And that's it. That's all you need. And then you're ready to show up at your next away mission. If you're playing Star Trek Online, you can build a digital version of the uniform for free. If you're playing a Federation character, which you would have to if you're going to be playing with us, the uniform set for our standard duty uniforms is one of the free uniform standards that just comes with an account. So for your Star Trek Online mission on a Wednesday night, recommend you take a few minutes to look through the uniform section on our website. There are guidelines there for which items to choose, which colors to select, and you can build your correct and accurate uniform for your digital avatar, at least on a Wednesday night. And you can use that as inspiration to help you put together your physical uniform when the time comes as well. But color t-shirt, jeans, that's the bare minimum you need. Make sure it's the right color and you're good to go. Next question, what is the first thing I should do after this briefing to level up? I would suggest just pick one thing. Just pick one thing you're not already doing, and whatever your comfort level is. So whether it's reacting to a post or agreeing to attend a mission, or going back and looking at a previous briefing, or saying hi in the stand-up. You can even participate in the stand-up as late in the day as this. You know, it's fine. It doesn't have to be in the morning just because we call it a morning stand-up. It's watching today's daily devotional episode and letting us know what you think about it in the Future History channel. Any number of those things. Just pick a thing and do it. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you have time for, whatever your level of engagement fits with, just do that thing. And then when you're ready, do a different thing. One step is all it takes to start building that momentum. And then before you know it, you're commanding officer someday. Okay, no more questions? Good. All right, so let me conclude with this. The Dauntless will give back exactly what you are willing to put in. If you want a rewarding, meaningful, and unforgettable experience, then step up, take part. Invest the time and effort in your crew, your ship, and yourself. The mission is yours to make of it what you wish. If you want an engaging experience, then do what Picard would ask of you. Engage. All right, that is all for today. Thank you, everybody. You are dismissed. Swart out.